What's up? Welcome back to Ask Dan Anything, and today we have a question from a new member, Justin. This is what he says. I've been seeing a girl for a few weeks now. She has seen a change in me with the way I talk to her about deeper thoughts and issues and how much more open I am. I've expressed attraction to her. I don't know how to tell her that I want to take the relationship further. I don't want to just be friends, but I also don't want to appear as if I'm pressuring her for sex, which I've been accused of in the past. Wrongly so, in my opinion. What is a good way to approach this? I love this question because it's a very common and topical problem that straight men face in today's modern age, especially in first world countries, is how do we move from friends to sexual intimacy without stepping over the boundaries that have become increasingly more terrifying with things like the Me Too movement and so on. Guys are becoming scared now to initiate sexually because they're seeing their peers being brought down by sexual conquest, shall we say. So I want to check in on this. So first off, there's that feminist pressure that any attempt to have sex equals rape. Right, that's a message that guys are getting these days, and that men are being prosecuted on. And it's very blurred lines. There are guys who are genuine sexual predators, and there's guys who are just trying to get laid. And now there's no difference between those guys in the views of like hardcore feminists. And so guys are like, well, fuck it. If a girl wants sex, I'm going to have to let her make all the moves. Of course, we enter the age-old problem of the girl waiting for the guy to make a move. So I just wanted to acknowledge that because that's what's going on here. The reason you feel hesitant is because you've been scared into thinking that it's somehow rapey to make any move towards sex. And I want to kill that notion today. Yes, you can initiate sex whilst being respectful. It doesn't have to be rapey. First off, I also want to kill this idea that sex happens in this magical, unspoken, spontaneous, fairy tale way. That people just look at each other in the eyes and there's this moment of passion and they just kiss each other and throw each other on the wall. That's movie talk and it's bullshit. Real life sex just doesn't happen that way unless people are really drunk. In real life, in a genuine relationship between actual human beings rather than scripted fantasy heroes, it has to be talked about. Awkward moments have to be experienced. There's this shift where you go from just friends to something further, and during that shift there's all sorts of honest and uncomfortable communication that needs to take place. Some people are particularly smooth physically and they can just move through this without ever mentioning that sex is that sex is going to take place. Good for them. Lucky them. It's great to be Brazilian or whatever. But if you're not that, if you're not the kind of person who's just got that natural vibe tuned into sex that can take people from friends to sex without having to mention sex at all, if you're not that person, then you're going to have to do things the old-fashioned, honest, awkward way, which is a way that actually teaches you how to be more spontaneous and fluid with this. Let go of the idea that this is going to happen in some magical, spontaneous, impulsive, unspoken way. And be prepared to actually go through some awkward conversation in order to amp things up. That awkwardness you feel quite often is also the same thing as sexual tension, which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all. You feel that respect and honesty conflict. You feel that if you're honest about your sexual intentions, that somehow you're being disrespectful. I argue the opposite. If you're dishonest about your sexual intentions, you're being disrespectful, not only to them but to yourself. You're hiding who you truly are, and that's a great disrespect to yourself. And it also puts them in an awkward position of not knowing what your true intentions are. Honesty and respect must go together. And today we're going to talk about how they go together. And no, it's not comfortable. But it's also definitely not sexual assault. Combine honesty and respect. Give rather than try to get. What do I mean by giving with honesty? You're giving her knowing how you feel and knowing what you want. You're giving her the truth about you so that she can manage her relationship with you with all the cards on the table. You're giving her the freedom to leave if she doesn't like the terms of your connection. In practical terms, this means simply telling her what you want. but doing so in such a way where there's no request being made, you're not trying to get something from her, and she's always got this complete freedom to decide for herself what she wants. That's how you combine it with respect. So a honest but somewhat disrespectful thing might be something along the lines of like, hey, can we have sex now? Like you're trying to take sex from her. Whereas honesty and respect would be like, God, if this friendship continues anymore, I'm going to try and take it to the bedroom. Like, we need to talk about this. I'm feeling really attracted to you. She's still free to leave, to move, to do whatever she wants. But she knows exactly how you feel and what you want. And kind of the agreement of what a continued interaction with you will end up as. So you've got to respect that she can choose as she pleases, that you're not going to in any way try to influence her into wanting to have sex with you. That's the key difference here. The reason most guys get confused about the difference between honestly expressing a desire for sex and crossing the line into harassment or assault is they don't want to let the woman decide. They want to control that decision. They want to make sure that she wants it. And they try to do it in either a manipulative or dominant way to try and force her to want it. Well, what you can do is say, look, I'm just going to make this available to you. If you don't want it, then you got to go. See you later. And you got to respect yourself here. Before you even go into this conversation, you got to ask yourself, can you handle being just friends with her? If she doesn't want to go sexual with you, are you still going to want her in your life? Because if that's not the case, and you're allowed to not want that, you're allowed to want someone for a sexual relationship and not a friendship. You don't have to be this fucking white knight hero who wants to be friends with everyone. Fuck that. So, if you can't handle being just friends with them, then you're going to have to explain this to them. Just say, look, I feel so strongly for you sexually that friendship's just not even an option anymore. And if you want to, continue being with me and just being friends, that's not going to work, I'm afraid. If you want to take this to the next level, if you want to get intimate with me, then that can work. But I want to make sure you know before we continue this, I don't want you wasting your time. So that's how you can be honest and respectful. You can say, look, if this isn't what you want, please leave. This isn't me scaring and kicking you out or rejecting you. It's saying, I'm not right for you because of what I want. That's respect and honesty. There will be some awkwardness during this agreement, and this is where the transition gets really difficult. If she says, no, I want more too, and you both sit there looking at each other like, holy shit, we both actually want this. What the hell do I do now? There's going to be that period of awkwardness when you do things this way. It's a brief period that once it's dealt with, it won't be a big deal. And you can deal with it simply. You can lean over and give her a kiss. You can invite her into your room for a nice back massage. You can break the kind of tension there and go from talking about this to doing something with it in just an open leadership kind of way. If she clearly says, look, I don't want to just be friends either, I want to take this to the next level too, then lead her to the next level. It doesn't mean you guys have got to fuck that night. It just means now, okay, we're going to get more physical. And let's get this started right here, right now, just to get this awkwardness sorted. Lean in, give her a kiss. You can just say, look, we don't have to rush into it, but it's good to know that we're both on the same page and we can let this thing happen naturally. And you can just start leading. So the way to move forward in this is to lead without trying to force or manipulate a follow. Okay, when you force or manipulate a follow, when you try to deceive, trick, or influence someone into having sex with you, that's when you start crossing that line into harassment. When your intention is not to give them honesty, but to control them with your desire, that's when you will cross that line. That's when they will feel creeped out and suffocated and dominated by what you're doing. But when you're like, look, you are always free to go. Don't ever let me tell you what you need to be doing here. Seriously, if you're not at all interested in having sex with me, then here, I'll call you an Uber. Because I don't want to cross the line with you. But I also want you to know that this just friends thing isn't going to work for me. I'm too into you for that. Or you can say, look, if you don't want to have sex with me, we can be just friends. I've thought about this and I realized, look, I'd rather have you in my life as a friend than not have you at all. So if you don't want sex, it's at least know that I do, so that it's not weird, so that you know what's going on inside me and you know I'm attracted to you. And then I can move on and find another girl or whatever. So, those are my thoughts. It's a very, very fucking touchy topic at this time. in our lives, isn't it? There are a lot of people getting into trouble in this grey area, and guys just can't win, because if they do take the lead, they're accused of harassment, and if they don't take the lead, they're accused of being pussies and weak and passive, and they feel like they're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. But there is a way to lead without being a harasser. You can be honest and respectful at the same time. You know, just be sure in yourself that this is what you want. Tell them what you want. Don't ask for it. Just tell them what it is, and then let them decide for themselves. So that was one of my Ask Dan Anything questions. If you got questions of your own, I'm now making these questions exclusive to BROJO members only, though everyone can watch them, but I'll only answer BROJO member questions or client questions. If you're interested in membership, there'll be a link down below to check that out. Otherwise, enjoy the free content, and I'll see you guys next time.